everyone, it is Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters, and thank you for joining me for a Confessions of a Paper Addict design team layout. So for this layout I am using the fabulous The Burbs cut file, and I'm going to be documenting when we purchased our new house back in 2013. So I started by backing the cut file with a few scraps and a bit of the Avenue collection by Jen Hatfield. That's mostly the collection I have used in this layout. And that beautiful background paper is an Amy Tangerine paper. Something about afternoons is the line that it's from. So I decided that I didn't want to sit the cut file just onto that green paper because I felt like it was a little bit flat. So I pulled out my modelling paste. I'm not really sure why I chose modelling paste instead of gesso, but I did. And I just kind of scraped it on with a spatula. And then decided that that looked a little bit too rigid with those flowing lines all going in the same direction. So then I went back across the top in the other direction. So I went ahead and did that for the top and the bottom. I'm also going to mention, if you are a wonderful follower of the Confessions of a Paper Addict design team, you'll be aware that back in November, Danny also did a layout using this cut file, The Burbs. She also used quite a bit of the Jen Hatfield, The Avenue. Now, I didn't know this until after I had created my layout. So, Danny, obviously your layout was so incredibly fantastic that it just stuck in my head and I subconsciously scrap lifted you. So thank you, Danny, for providing such amazing inspiration. And if you haven't checked her out, definitely pop on over to her channel to check out her version of the Burbs as well. So I've now come in with a Vicky Booten stencil. It's actually kind of like a florally, twirly, swirly stencil, but I only want a little bit of it, again, just to add some more texture and layers underneath where the houses are going to sit. And again, I am just using that exact same modelling paste and palette knife. I've then popped that aside for quite a while to dry, just to make sure it's 100% dry. And I'm going to glue my cut file straight down on top of this, just using some wet glue. Now, a technique I like to use if I know that my mixed media, or I don't have any mixed media, if I know that my mixed media is 100% dry, I'll kind of lightly put my cut file on, and then I find to get a completely even coverage of pressing down that glue and gluing it on, it works so nice if I can turn it over and rub the back. But hot tip for you, I know you're not silly, but please make sure that your mixed media is completely dry, or you might smush your texture paste, or it might sort of get stuck on the table a little bit and you'll ruin it, and no one wants to ruin their beautiful mixed media after all that time and effort they put in to create it. So I'm really loving the feel of this. I know I want a little bit of a white kind of feeling to go with all of that beautiful green and to go with the cut file. So I've kind of got the white base now. The houses are all cut with the white backing paper for the cut file. And then here is my beautiful photo. Now, the photo itself is actually not that crash hot. The quality of it, even the story it's telling, this particular photo, not so amazing. But it is literally the only photograph I have of our new house after we purchased it. So I, of course, must document this and use this dodgy photo. But I'm happy because it's got the sold sign, and otherwise I just wouldn't have this memory at all. I feel like now is the perfect time to mention also, if you check out the description box down below, that will give you a link to the Confessions of a Paper Addict Etsy shop, where you can purchase this particular cut file called The Burbs. We'll have a direct link to The Burbs, and I'll also have a link to the cut file store where you can peruse 800 cut files or something amazing like that. There is also a link to the Facebook group, which I highly recommend joining because it is a ton of fun. Awesome layouts get shared in there on the daily by a beautiful community of people, and it is a lovely, lovely Facebook group to be a part of. So these little white trees that I'm sticking on are again The purpose of those is to lift up that white that I'm going for with this layout. And they are the inside pieces of the trees of the cut file. They were too cute to throw away, and I really wanted to get them on the page. The idea of them being sort of close to and around the photo was to also mimic the trees that are at the front of our house. We've got this gigantic jacaranda tree, which you can see in the front left of the photograph, kind of, if you've got good eyes. And I really wanted to sort of mimic this feeling of bushiness and trees that is part of our neighbourhood. I then decided to pop some of those puppies on. If you know the Jen Hatfield The Avenue collection, there's quite a few puppies, there's quite a few cats, and I'm not an animal person as such. We don't have any animals, and if I don't start using these up, they're not getting on any layouts. So I decided to just pop those on to this because, you know, dogs and cats live in the neighbourhood. I didn't use any cats. They were a little bit large, but the dogs seemed to fit quite well. Then, of course, I needed that lady driving the car because, you know, down the street, and then throw on the random bike. And I literally only have cats and dogs left in my Jen Hatfield collection now. Oh no, and some acons. But those acons are really large. I'm really not sure how I'm going to use those. But that's it. And then that collection is complete. Well, that ephemera is complete. Then I fussy cut these gorgeous flowers, also from the same collection, to just add a little pop of that pink again. And just because I love florals and I try and sneak them on everywhere that I can. You might have seen me give that a little bit of a nudge. Working with wet glue means that nothing is instantly stuck down. I've got a little bit of wiggle room. This can have its pros and cons. As I move my paper around soon, in a moment, you will see that ephemera starts falling off because the glue has not dried and it is not completely adhered. But for moments like then, where I wasn't 100% happy with the placement, I do have that luxury of being able to sort of wiggle and smush it around a little bit and get it in the right spot. So sometimes good, sometimes not so much. Then I'm pulling out the absolutely stunning little puffy gold hearts. I adore these and probably need 10 more packets. They are just the best. I love that they come in multiple sizes and they are super cute. So I'm just putting them everywhere on the page. I think I used about 5, but they were too cute to not use. I kind of put them with every piece of embellishment because I don't actually really have clusters going on today. I kind of just have bits everywhere. Now, excuse me, I decided that this layout just needed something else, some form of border, some form of something, and I wasn't really sure how I was going to roll with this, so I just decided to just dig on in and go. So what I end up doing is completely distressing all the way around the edge of the page. Now, I didn't trim my page down any smaller. I am just distressing the 12 by 12 exactly as it is. What I'm hoping to do here is kind of create a little border feel. I want a little bit more white to come through. I want that ragged edge to come through. And I'm hoping that that's going to do the trick just by roughing up the edge. But I then don't want to just leave it. So I'm going to mat the whole 12 by 12 onto a white sheet of paper. A, because we have white paper, and B, because I'm hoping that where the sort of rough edge is distressed, that the white will kind of shine through underneath it, and that will help give this illusion of a white border around the page. So that was my plan of attack, and that's what I was going with. And I'm really happy with the way it worked out. It did what I wanted it to do. So just distressing up the last one here. And this I do stick down with double-sided tape because I didn't want to leave almost like a line of glue that you can see, like a lump or a bubble or a ripple, because the glue is wet. So I am going to stick that with double-sided tape because I know that's going to be completely smooth. Here's my other trick for you. A piece of paper that you don't particularly love that is white on the other side. There you go, folks. Don't throw it out. Don't, waste it as such. use it as a white piece of paper. No one sees the back when you pop it into your pockets and put them inside your album. So I do that all the time. I in fact have 0 plain white paper left. I haven't been able to buy any. It's expensive to ship. None have been in store. So I'm only using paper which has a random pattern on the back. So that is my tip for you. Anyone who's playing along at home, you should have just noticed a little puppy dog fall off the page because he was still wet and he was not adhered properly yet. So just rubbing that on, you can see the date there on the back of the blue paper that I wrote on earlier. I did not want to forget when I do my journaling later what the date is because I will date stamp this. I didn't need to jot any notes for the journaling because it's kind of self-explanatory and it's something that is definitely stuck into my head. So I can do that myself when I type up my journaling on my typewriter. So I am coming in with my Heidi Swapped Colour Shine. So that means I am finished. I absolutely 100% glossed over adding on the title because there is a massive spelling error in there that I'm going to just say tired brain. I don't actually feel that tired, but I'm going to say tired brain completely missed. But I have fixed up in time for the photos. I just completely missed 2 letters, random. So thank you so much for following along with this process video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Definitely check out the description box down below for all those links that you might need. And I cannot wait to see you back on this channel next time. Thanks everyone. Have a lovely day.